Welcome to the Lakeshow podcast. It's a weekly deep dive into the biggest stories and topics surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by my Spectrum SportsNet co-host, Chris McGee, and our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan.
Hi, guys.
Hi, friends.
Hi, guys. Hi, friends.
What's going on?
Great shirt. Is that the Manhattan Beach Pier?
Well, Manhattan Beach Pier. Yeah. Got it from the
Nice.
surf shop right by the pier.
The one and only Manhattan Beach
The one
Pier.
and only. Yeah. It's got a little, what I like about the Manhattan Pier,
Iconic.
as opposed to the Hermosa Pier, you have the little aquarium at the end of it. Make a little snack shack, too. So there's a little bit of entertainment. It's not the Santa Monica Pier. We all know that. But we like where we are in the Manhattan.
You spent some time in that aquarium a little bit there, Brez?
You know, I have a 9-year-old niece. So she comes down once or twice every summer. We usually go to the aquarium. So it's only like $4 to go in there. And
Kids loved it when they were
Kids
young.
love it, right? You had a couple kids.
Yep, when they left.
Who used to be 9. And yeah, it's fun.
If you're not at the aquarium,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
end of
look,
the Manhattan Beach Pier.
it's not like there's dolphins there.
Can I tell you
And,
another
like,
cool component of the Manhattan Beach Pier?
Yeah.
Every Manhattan Beach Open winner, male or female, that has ever won the granddaddy of them all, beach volleyball tournament, called the Manhattan Open, has a bronze volleyball on the pier plaque. So when you walk, you look down from the names and you see it all the way from the 60s all the way.
So cool.
Can I ask a real honest question?
Yeah.
Why are they bronze if they're the winners?
I don't know. I mean, it's like goldish, brondish. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Something that can sustain the sea air, right? Probably some sort of.
That makes sense.
Sure,
By
they
the
did
way-
all the metal analysis.
How about
and-
Brez
Yeah.
coming in deep with the thought right there? That was nice.
Oh, my head hurts.
Because like when you said it, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
winner, bronze? Yeah. That's, from the 60s,
Yeah,
you said?
Quite the Alchemist.
All the way, all the way back.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
But going on over 6 years.
That's cool. That is awesome. Well, if you're not hanging out at the aquarium at the end of the Manhattan Beach Pier, you could be in Redondo at the Surf Club, hanging out with Geeter and Robert. Big shot.
Fireside
Robert Ory.
chat.
Got a
How
little
was
Robert Ory
that?
time last night. It was awesome. I think the guests had a great time. It was for the members, and it was a little bit of rain actually here in SoCal, which scared some people away, I believe, but it cleared up, and we did it outside actually because we had more people than would fit in the area by the fire. So we actually did the fireside chat outside.
Nice.
They have an outdoor area there. It's pretty cool at the Redondo Harbor, and it was super cool. Rob was, he's awesome, man. He's just good at First of all, he just welcomes everybody. Like just right when he got there, he was telling stories, asking questions, and takes all the pictures, hangs out with everybody. We had dinner. It was super cool. Super cool.
Anything new? I haven't seen Rob since season ended.
Yeah, there were some. We were telling stories and stuff. There was just some things where I was like, wait, really? Just
Yeah.
popping up along the way, just some of those old stories.
Any Danny Ainge story? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a moment there. I called the part of the show F Danny Ainge, but I said it for real. And then I made the whole crowd say it
Wow.
Oh, good.
just to get Rob excited.
Audience
And
participation.
we went right into it. And he told the at-length version, which was awesome.
When he threw
That's
the towel at
awesome.
Danny Ainge's face.
But I actually thanked Danny. I did it in my big intro for him, too. I did like an AVP-style intro for him. But I actually thanked Danny Ainge because without Danny Ainge being like he is, Rob Ory's never a Laker, and we don't win those 3 championships.
It's good. Good.
And then we're never friends, and then he doesn't work with us at
Right,
Spectrum. So it all came together. So we basically thanked Danny last night.
That's awesome.
amazing.
Danny created a lot.
Yeah. Who knew? Danny Ainge, who knew that he would create more titles and great memories for the Lakers? So thank you, Danny.
Love that. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah. But we talk Lakers and his love for the Lakers and what
Talk about
his
his-
shot meant to this city and what that did in terms of propelling him into Laker lore and what it meant, like Freddie with the Dodgers. And, we kind of compared it to that. And
Speaking of, didn't Freddie hit a walk-off
he
last
had a
night?
walk-off last night off the wall
Yeah.
against the Mets.
Did you talk about Seven?
Seven the dog, gave
Yeah.
Seven the dog a little bit of love. Rob's new dog that he rescued, Seven, for 7 rings, Brez.
Ah,
Shout out to our girl, Karina, for helping him.
Yeah, so we got it all in there.
nice.
By the way, that is an epic name. When I heard that he was going to name his dog that, I was jealous. But I couldn't name my dog that because I
you know
don't
what?
have 7 rings.
None of us could ever do it.
No.
We don't have 7 rings.
I mean, it's so cool.
There was a horror movie called Seven back in the day. Brad Pitt, I want to
It's
say.
very scary.
What?
Scary
Really?
movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Aw, I
Seven
need to know this
different
one.
murders, I believe.
Yeah.
I think.
And Brad Pitt did them all?
7 Deadly Sins.
Seven Deadly Sins, Brad.
Brad Pitt was a very young Brad Pitt. This was in his, what was the movie where he was like on a ranch, like a frontier, and he had long hair and really early Brad Pitt.
The river runs through it.
Yeah, maybe. Legends of the Fall, Brett.
Thanks,
Thank
Brett.
you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good job, Ritz and Johnson.
I just
Were you
saw.
watching it last night, Brett? Okay. You sure? All right, just checking.
I just saw today's version about 9 months ago of Brad Pitt, and he looks just young as ever. When I went to his movie premiere for Wolves.
He really is. He really is
Ridiculous.
Benjamin Button, isn't he?
Guy's 60. Looks like he's
Benjamin
38.
Button.
Hey, easy on the 60
I'll
call,
give you
man.
something to
Some of us
button.
are saying,
Heyo. Okay, well, if you're not fireside chatting in Redondo, if you're not checking out the aquarium, you could be listening to the Mind the Game podcast, which is with LeBron James and Steve Nash.
Luka was on there.
Thank you. It's exactly where we were going. How about 3 of the game's all-time best passers sitting down to clink those glasses together?
It's nice.
What?
3 of the top what you think passers of all time? What do you think they are?
Basketball players?
No, I'm saying in terms of the passing. You think they're top,
Like top 10?
3 of the top 10? Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Top 7?
Yeah, top
Top
5
it.
maybe.
I mean, Magic.
The thing about Geet, I know you're with me on this. Stockton is the NBA all-time assist leader, but speaking of Robert Horry,
Great passer.
this is a topic that really gets him heated because and Worthy too a little bit because Rob played with very good point guards, and obviously Worthy played with Magic, and they want those guys to get more acclaim historically. But they are convinced that the Utah statisticians back in the 80s and 90s were just giving Stockton all sorts of assists.
Still a great passer, though.
He's a really good passer, though.
Yeah, and so Jay Kidd and I would say Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Is up there.
You know who else is
Nash,
up there?
Luka, LeBron.
Mark Jackson's up there in the top 10.
Yeah,
Like,
great
whoa.
passer.
I think he has the rookie assist record for a season. But yeah, those 3 are definitely top 10.
If you haven't checked it out, some snippets from it. Obviously, Luka discussing his experience a little bit here in LA. Loves playing in front of the celebrities. Loves the ocean. Loves the beach.
Gave a little volleyball a little shout out in there too, Brett. Said he
In
played
what
volleyball
capacity?
growing up a little bit.
Okay.
He played volleyball growing up?
Just that he played other sports growing up.
Oh, we'll get to that topic too.
Yeah.
Because you have children. You're the only one here that has children.
Yeah.
In terms of playing that topic that they had. Multiple sports. Talking youth sports at length. Said that kids nowadays feel too much pressure having to pick one sport. Hiring trainers and not being exposed to other sports leads to burnout. No pickup ball, all drills, no kids at the park playing outside.
I agree with that.
Yeah?
100%. 100%. Especially in basketball.
Yeah.
You see that now a lot. Not a lot of park play. See, Rich talked about AAU and and he went and checked it out for his son and just the drill. You're not learning fundamentals and stuff. And yeah, I mean around here a lot of girls play volleyball and you grow up playing other sports, but then at some point volleyball just seems to take over or whatever your sport is, and you get, I don't want to say one dimensional, but it becomes what you do because if you feel like you'll lose out or that's what you love and that's what you want to do and you chase it and all this stuff. And my advice to kids when they're young is to always play as many as you can as long as you can. And then naturally they will kind of go to one that they love. But yeah, dual sports, tough. Like we have a kid, my younger daughter plays with who's a stud, and she, her dad was a football player. She's one of the best incoming freshmen. She's one of the best football players on the team for girls. Girls have flag football now. It's really blown up. I mean, she's legit. She's also one of the best lacrosse players in the town. She's also one of the best volleyball players in the town. So everyone's kind of like wanting her to go to one. But I'm always saying stay as long as you can, play as many as you can, because you will avoid the burnout. LeBron's right on that, 100%.
I just thought it was a good conversation too, just like outside of basketball and just in general, right? Taking in just a different perspective from them. But a real quick question, because obviously your girls, and this is something I'm not privy to because back in the Midwest, at least not where I was from, and we didn't have sand volleyball, we didn't have beach volleyball, but you think too just how different that is.
Yeah.
Can that technically be kind of like two sports?
Yeah,
Two different sports?
For sure, although your shoulder might
Tell you
you're
otherwise.
still
You're still doing the
that.
same thing. Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely, and it is a different game, even though
Right.
skill wise, and I believe they help each other.
Okay. Yeah.
The hard part about doing both of those for a long time is you start to, if college is in your future, you got to pick one.
Because they're both.
Yeah, they're both time consuming. So it's really tough. There are a couple of girls that still do both, but it's hard. You can't put as much time into one. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Ellie, did you have like farm volleyball? Like, what did you have if you didn't have beach?
We just had indoor.
Indoor.
Yeah. We had indoor, but then you had the chance to do club, which during that time I was playing basketball.
Okay.
Or then I ran track in the spring. So I was a multi-sport athlete. I did volleyball, basketball, and track.
The one thing about LeBron was saying about, when you think of shooting or you think of drills, like that's just the way the world has gone now. And I say the world, I mean, this country for sure. Like, you know, because you always hear about the soccer players over in Europe when they're 10 years old, 11 years old. I mean, think of Luka going to the academy in Madrid at a young age, right? Yep. So he's specialized is what they call it, right? So you're specializing in one sport. You know, everyone I think is so, time becomes everything. It's like, oh, we got to get this much work in an hour because he's got a tutor or she has a tutor and we got to go to here. They have practice. So that hour is with a dribbling coach, with a shooting coach. And it's just drill after drill. You know, that's how they're getting the reps. Instead of how we all grew up, and I assume LeBron grew up, I just had a hoop in my front yard. And those were my drills. There was no private coach. Not until I got high school that I trained with a coach.
Yeah.
But I just think those days are, I don't know if they're over because I don't know the rest of the country, you know, and what the culture is. But I know here in Los Angeles, you're getting to one place and the other.
Trend towards specialization.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody around you is doing the same thing. And then LeBron will find out with his daughter playing volleyball and all that stuff. Like, oh, this person's doing private lessons. They're going to get so much better. And I don't think what people realize is that you get better by
playing.
By the way, also growing up and getting older and getting stronger and developing and working on your game. That's how you get better. So it's not necessarily the private coach getting you better. Obviously, they can help you, but everything in a private lesson is very controlled. But then you look at a guy like when you get to the NBA, like you need a guy like Phil Handy, right? Because he's going to help you perfect your craft. So that just trickles down. Now Phil can work with whomever, and you're going to pay the money to work with a guy like that, right?
Yeah.
Because the results.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, golf, a lot of hours. A lot of hours with a coach, with his dad, and over and over and over, you know. So
it's a great conversation.
Good stuff.
Another big topic that came obviously out of that podcast was Luka being impressed. Luka's what, 27? 26.
Turned in February, I think.
26. And just the instant thing that stood out to him about LeBron was arriving, quote, 10 hours before.
Pretty crazy.
Which I think we all are like, you know, from that standpoint, just in terms of the consistency of that too, you know. But I will say, you think that has played a role, a factor into the overall maybe evolvement or what we're seeing happen quickly here into the offseason with Luka in his training and what we're seeing kind of from afar?
Yeah, I would think yes. I mean, and the thing I love about this anecdote is Kobe Bryant was the exact same way. If the Lakers played at 7:30 that night at Staples Center back in the day, Kobe would get there probably around, well, first of all, this is when they had shoot-arounds. Shoot-arounds were a legit thing. He would go to El Segundo, be there at 10 a.m. for a shoot-around, talk to the media afterwards, and then he would usually go to the hotel across the street. I believe it was the Ritz. He had a place at the Ritz. He would crash there for an hour or two, get food, whatever. I'm assuming his room service. Then he'd go over to the arena right across the street, probably at like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. He would be there so long before anybody else. And our cameras and crew here at Spectrum, they get to the arena really early. And I'm not even sure that they would always have a camera person in place. Or not that Kobe and LeBron want this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But I think they even beat the camera people into place, which is saying a lot. But I think it's really cool that the Lakers just have a legacy of guys, superstars, who are going to get there so early, the sun's still out, and they're just going to put in their time, and they're going to get their massages, they're going to get their feet done, whatever they have to do, taped up and everything. Take shots long before there's any media in the building, and then start the mental preparation. I think it's really cool, and I can definitely see that being imparted upon Luka too.
Yeah, that strike year, which I believe was 2011, around that time, whatever, 10, I forget, but it was a preseason. And what people don't realize is Kobe lived in Orange County, right, a lot of times.
Yeah.
So he would also work out at a little tiny place in Hermosa Beach on Hermosa Avenue called The Yard.
That's right.
And it was really tiny, but his workout guy worked out, and they would open. I know the guy would open the yard for him. It was at 6 a.m. or 5:30 in the morning. He would work out there. He would then go to the facility, which is now the Kings are there, and the ice rinks and stuff over there in El Segundo. But Luke had a shooting coach back then, and I would be his rebounder, and I would throw it on. There's one summer we were doing that. We would get there pretty early, 9:30, 10. Kobe had already gone to the yard, gone to the facility for a couple hours, was already in the training room. By the time Luke would get there, and Luke was usually we were the only guys in there. His teammates would come a little later. This is for practice. So that's what Kobe would do. So in terms of Luka, seeing that, I mean, that is how LeBron, that is what has worked for LeBron. That has been his recipe. Steve Nash once told me, like, and he actually said it to Luke because they were talking about drafting players and stuff. And he said, does the guy live in the gym? If he lives in the gym, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But if you have trouble getting him in the gym, I would take a look at that. That was Nash lived in the gym, worked on his craft. Kobe lived in the gym, guys like that. So, LeBron he's pulled in a lot of different directions, right? But he works out. He does all of his stuff. That is the priority. You can't make Luka want to do that. I mean, I assume Luka's that way. You can't be that good. But, yeah, I mean, something has to, you watch a guy like that that's done it for 22 years and who's won titles, multiple titles, and you want to get to that point because that's how you're going to be considered one of the greatest of all time. And, by the way, all the stuff that was said about you in Dallas on the way out, I mean, motivation's a real thing. Mm-hmm. You can get comfortable really quick in this world, whether you get your money or you get your title, whatever. But the real ones, like the ones who want to be the greats, that drives them even more. But there's always that thing on their shoulder. Michael Jordan had it. Kobe, yeah, they all do it. You have to be motivated to get up and do that stuff. So hopefully hopefully LeBron has shown him a path, but also he's pissed off. Mm-hmm. He's pissed off about what everyone is saying about how they lost, about what kind of shape he was in. That's got to drive you.
And they won one playoff game. How about that for motivation for the next 6 months?
Gentlemen, sweet.
I also think, too, before we go to break here, that we, as NBA fans, as basketball fans, especially those who are deep fans of Luka, you've been almost a bit spoiled because of how great he is at such a young age. And we've been able to watch it, that there's also that maturation level that he is embarking on, right? And it's a part of this whole process. We're talking about LeBron and Kobe, especially later, they had it their entire career, but even later in their career, and you're talking about LeBron being at the arena at age 40, 10 hours before. Luka's 26.
26. Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a time where LeBron has gone through the phases in the stage, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've been watching Luka since 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Right? He's now a vet in this league.
Yep. Yeah. So it'll be really fun to see how that all comes to fruition. And I think we're seeing a glimpse of it possibly right now. Lakeshow fans, remember, you can be a part of the show each week. Feel free to send us your questions and comments. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll dive into the NBA Finals and some familiar Laker faces in it. Welcome back to the Lakeshow Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, you can check out more original podcasts from our Spectrum News journalists in the Spectrum News app. Just head to the podcast section to listen to the latest episodes. You can download the Spectrum News app on the App Store or Google Play. Guys, we talked about LeBron in the Mind the Game podcast just before break. So obviously I want to touch on, because he has his player option coming up at the end of the month, June 29th. Someone else who has that is Dorian Finney-Smith, approximately $15.4 million, I believe. Think he opts in, Brez?
No, I think he goes for a little financial security for himself. Seemed like he had a pretty good run here in L.A. Happened to run into him in Manhattan Beach one day. He was having a good time. He was really kind of getting to know the city of L.A. I think he opts out. Look for him to sign probably a 3-year, probably $55 million deal. Keep in mind the Lakers gave up some assets to get him. Gave up D'Angelo Russell, a good bench scorer, part-time starter, 3 second-rounders. I think the Lakers are cognizant of that. They want him back, and I think he wants to be back. He'll rip up that contract and create a new one.
Yeah, love to hear that for sure. We all agree on that. All right, turning our attention to the NBA Finals, because that is upon us. There are a couple former Lakers that are going to be participating in the NBA Finals. Obviously, Thomas Bryant, who we saw there in that closeout opportunity in Indy versus the Knicks the other night. What do you have, 11 points?
He was on fire.
13 minutes, a couple of 3 balls. He wanted to make sure everyone knew that he was on that floor, which is something he obviously...
That he was back in the game.
Yes, exactly, after spending time in Miami. So cool to see that. And then on the other side, we've got that one guy... Which, look, we could talk about it again, too, because on Mind the Game that came out recently, I believe today, was Steve Nash, one of his favorite teammates of all time. Not to mention, Alex Caruso brought his 2020 championship ring around the Thunder. Jalen Williams said. And Williams said it was arguably one of the tougher rings to win, obviously, with the bubble. And
Caruso was a big part of that, man.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely huge.
He's huge.
We talked about it.
No, you first.
I was just going to say, we talked about this on the show yesterday. You think it's going to be an OKC sweep?
I do.
A sweep?
I just feel like, have you seen the series price? It's minus 700.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Go grab some Pacer stock.
I know.
It's not worth betting on OKC.
No, if you put 100 on the Pacers, you're going to get like 500 back, 400 something back.
I think it could be a good series.
I just feel like Indiana's had a fun run, but that OKC defense is sick. I mean, the way they clamp down on everybody.
They're playing great right now.
And Allie and I were talking about this on our show yesterday. Remember the Lakers kind of back-to-back games in OKC towards the end of the regular season? I know it was 2 games over 3 days.
Yeah. The first one, I thought the Lakers were winning the championship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they beat them in the first one, right? And they had a chance in the second one.
Luka got kicked out.
So, yeah, get a little ejection. But those were the 2 games where I'm like, oh, this Laker playoff thing could take off here.
Yeah.
It didn't. Not the first time I've been horribly wrong on something, but I mean, that OKC team has really dialed it up. And they weren't that interested, maybe, in playing those games against the Lakers. The Lakers were fighting for playoff seeding.
Remember, they were fighting for home court throughout that too. So they were definitely playing all their guys.
Yeah, and the Lakers were just playing for home court, period.
Yeah,
they were trying to get a piece of that top 4 pie, which they did. OKC's defense is sick. It's crazy.
He's going a sweep. What do you think?
I do have OKC winning, but I think it's 6.
In 6?
Yeah.
You think Pacers can steal a couple?
I think it could be 2-2, and then I think OKC can steal that one in Indiana, come home and do it.
Yeah.
5's what the odds makers think.
Yeah.
So we're both taking a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
How about Indy's plane having to be rerouted because of the tornado in OKC yesterday?
There's always that.
Yeah.
The thunder.
Nobody had odds on that.
Set in.
I actually am. I feel like, because I've seen a lot of people just say OKC, across the board. I'm picking them because I think they're the best team, but I'm not surprised if Indiana can win the series. Like, Indiana can win the series, in my opinion. But I just think it's going to be great. I think people are really talking about the small markets and making a big. But if you go basketball, it's a great series. I think
so many good, underrated, unheralded players on these teams. Nesmith and Nembhard.
These guys are playing great, man.
Remember, Nembhard had that big shot against the Lakers a couple seasons ago. OKC to me is just their entire backup 5. I mean, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, all these guys. You're like, who? I'm blanking on his name. Andrew Wiggins. He's good too. So many good players.
They're deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
Of course, Caruso, part-time starter. Pretty thick and good roster there for OKC too.
I think it's their time.
Yeah.
Putting the small market teams on the map, which some other news around the league. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Giannis and obviously all the trade rumors that are going on right now. Shaq had an interesting point on big markets not being important to superstars anymore, saying, quote, nobody cares what city you are in anymore. This isn't the 90s. Social media is the market now.
Wow.
I mean,
a really good point.
It is a great point.
Yeah, and the way the rules are now, where you're incentivized, who's turning you down a Supermax? Right? If you stay with your team after you're drafted, you're getting insane money. So it's not like you can't go get paid more somewhere else.
Yep.
So you're going to get that first bag. It's going to be a lot of money. That's 7 years, 8 years. And then maybe you can, maybe you want out.
And at the beginning of the season when Cleveland, I believe, was still undefeated, OKC, possibly it was that matchup, right? And Shea was talking about how he loved OKC so much. He was like, I don't care what anyone says about small market teams.
Yeah.
I want to be here. Now, granted, he's not
Everyone
even on the social
Donovan
media
Mitchell
side too
to
either.
New York, right? But it was Cleveland.
Yeah.
He stayed. Brunson is the guy in New York, so there's no point in going there now.
I'm fascinated about the TV ratings for this. Market 25, Indianapolis versus market 47, OKC.
Wow.
You know who the NBA was rooting for. You know who the suits were definitely sweating out in the Eastern Conference. They want the number 1 market in the country. So I appreciate that sentiment. Like,
wow, it's not rigged. Amazing.
You know who didn't want something in the number 1 market?
Who's that?
The Knicks didn't want Tibbs.
Yeah, there you go.
There's some other news there.
Wow.
Shocking.
Crazy.
You know who wants that job though? Our guy, Meta World Peace. Go check out his Twitter.
Give me an
He
interview.
wants it. Yeah. He says he belongs. He's built for it. Played at St. John's.
Ooh, I like that.
Even his bio says, I'm ready to not be turned down for coaching jobs. It's my time.
Yes.
Who said that?
Meta tweeted this. Yeah.
Meta. I saw that tweet actually. Sorry.
He knows good.
He's
bagels.
not going to back down. He wants it. Yeah. And last, obviously, how much time we got left? 30 seconds. The NBA All-Star Game changing again. All this news comes out around the NBA Finals. Love it. Adam Silver confirming that there will be some form of Team USA versus the world next year.
All right.
When they move over to NBC. You want entertainment? We're going to give you entertainment.
We're going to keep trying.
Market. Thanks to you all for listening to the Lakeshow podcast. If you like what you hear, leave us a rating and a review on your favorite podcast app. Geeter will let you know what he wants. We want to hear from you.
I'll research on my own. I'll let you know how I feel.
Did you know there's a new way to watch your favorite team, and it's available exclusively to Spectrum customers this season? You can watch Lakers games on Spectrum SportsNet Plus with the NBA app on us when you add internet and at least one mobile line. This offer is a slam dunk total value of $194.99. To learn more, head to spectrum.com/getlakers.